Hey everybody, Jeff Hansen back. We're talking BYU sports again. It's a Wednesday morning training camp just around the corner. That's what we're going to get into today. First, appreciate everybody who's back on the channel. The support, the outreach, the interaction, everything since I've come back, started posting content again has been phenomenal. Fuel the algorithm, folks. We're back. It's time. We care about the algorithm once again. Appreciate everybody's support so far. Subscribe if you haven't. Let's get into training camp. Some of the things that I'm most excited to see. I guess some of the specific players that I'm most excited to see, and we're not going to talk about the quarterback. That's been talked about. We've talked about it on this channel. Everybody has talked about it. Every BYU outlet is talking about the quarterback. So as training camp opens, you're going to hear more and more about the quarterback. We're going to talk about a bunch of non-quarterback things and the things that I'm really, really excited to see. It starts with Ace Kaufusi. I'm so jacked to see Ace Kaufusi play this year. He played a little bit last year. What was he? He was a freshman, redshirt freshman maybe? I don't know. He was a freshman of some kind. And he got onto the field in the back half of the season, started to make an impact. I think Ace Kaufusi's a starter this year. He's the real deal. He's put on some more weight, so he's going to play at, 230, 235, somewhere in that range. He's good, folks. He's got the height. He's got the length that you want from kind of that edge rusher, right? That outside linebacker who can get after the quarterback, but also hang in coverage, fit run gaps, play really well. I think Ace is a starter. I mean, right now I have him starting in that linebacker unit, and I think he's a difference maker. He's a Kaufusi. He's a natural football player. Really, really excited to see what Ace Kaufusi brings to the table. And now as a sophomore. And a sophomore who has some expectations. So maybe more than any individual player, I'm super excited to watch Ace Kaufusi. I think he's going to really, really turn some heads this year and surprise some people with how good he is and how quickly he gets to that level. Something else I'm excited for. I'm excited for the battle at the right tackle spot. You've got Caleb Etienne and Isaiah Jatta, and I think those two are really the two who are vying for the starting spot. And the loser gets that backup designation. I think that's your two deep at right tackle. So that's going to bring up some memories from people, right? Caleb Etienne was not good last year. He came from Oklahoma State. He'd started 13 games for the Pokes the year before, and there was a lot of high hopes. I had high hopes. I think the staff had high hopes. Everybody had high hopes for Caleb Etienne, and he did not live up to those hopes. It was weird. I mean, there's not really any way to explain it other than it was weird. He has all the tools, the physicality, the size, the everything to be very, very good. And it just looked like maybe the effort wasn't there. It looked like, I don't know if it was coaching. I don't know. It was probably a combination of a lot of things. But Etienne was not very good last year. He ended up getting moved to guard, which isn't great. I mean, you don't want your prototypical 6'8", 320 whatever pound prototypical tackle to be playing guard. That means things did not go well. Isaiah Jatta out of Snow College a couple of years ago was a four-star, or pushing four-star status, had offers from Colorado, not Oklahoma, Colorado and Auburn, handful of others coming out of JUCO. He ends up going to Colorado, spurns BYU, and he was part of that dysfunction that was there in Boulder last year. He ends up transferring after a year, like so many other players who went and committed to Coach Prime ended up doing. So he comes to BYU now. BYU beats out USC. He's coming in late. He missed spring ball. He really didn't join until the summer, so he's got a learning curve. If he can figure that out, he's got the athleticism. He's a superb athlete. He's got the tools. He's got all the stuff that made all of those schools really, really want him coming out of junior college. That's all still there. He's just coming out of that dysfunctional program right now in Colorado. I think he could push Etienne for the starting spot. I think he could win the starting spot. Frankly, I think that TJ Woods hopes that he wins the starting spot. I've never talked to TJ Woods about this. I've never talked to TJ Woods at all. But I think that they want Isaiah Jatta to be the starter. And then that gives him a little bit of flexibility with Etienne. You can also keep him motivated, keep him working hard. And Etienne has worked hard. They were impressed with the progress that he's made in the spring. But if Jatta could lock down that tackle spot, maybe you can look at moving Etienne back inside where he played a little bit better last year. Really excited to see what how that position battle plays out, because at that position battle, if BYU feels good at right tackle, you start to feel good about the entirety of the offensive line. I'm excited to see the running back spot. LJ Martin, There were rumors, around that he's hurt, that he was going to miss part of the season. I've never personally heard that he was going to miss any time, but if other people reported it, then why not? I think those rumors have been squashed a little bit since then. LJ Martin's done some show. I think he went on Jake's show, did a great job. Jake asked the right question of, hey, are you hurt? Just straight up asked him. And LJ says he's going to play. I think he's going to play. I've never heard that he's going to miss any time. Good. That's huge. LJ Martin's the real deal. You need to have LJ Martin. But beyond LJ, what's there in the running back room? Hinckley Ropati, people love Hinckley Ropati. We haven't seen him consistently on the field because when he gets on the field, he's hurt. He was young when he was on the field the first time. He was hurt really quickly after he started to make an impact. The second time, you really started to see him. So we haven't seen a consistent dose of Hinckley Ropati. But when he's on the field and he's healthy, he's been pretty good. Miles Davis is there. BYU went and made sure that they brought him back out of the transfer portal. There's a lot of confidence that he continues to progress. I think it's easy to forget that Miles Davis wasn't a running back. He was brought to BYU to play wide receiver and transition to the position. So all of the stuff that he's done so far has been in the first couple of years of playing running back. So he's got some learning curve there, and there's some hope that Miles Davis is a little bit more ready to play this year. The guy I'm most excited to see is Pokai Haunga. Holy moly, guy. I cannot express how good Pokai really is. Played at Timpview, part of that 2023 class. We've talked about him on this channel before. He's very, very good. He gives me, I have to hesitate to make this comparison, but this is who I think of when I see him play. He gives me Reno Mahe vibes. He could do a little bit of everything, kind of how Reno can. Now, Reno did everything at an exceptional level, and Pokei's got a lot of room to grow. He's got a lot of room before he's Reno Mahe. But stylistically, that's who he kind of reminds me of, that he can catch the ball out of the backfield. You can flex him out, line him up as a slot receiver, and then he could tote the rock as well out of the backfield, find your gaps. You can run some power play, some zone running. I mean, there's a lot of things that Pokai can do. He's good. And he was here for spring, and he really impressed in spring. He's off of a mission, but he's not going to have the mission rust that a lot of guys have. He wasn't gone. I think he was gone a little bit less than a year. So he doesn't have that full 2 years away from football. He's been in the program. I think you can start to count on Pokai making an impact this year. Really excited to see how that plays out. I'm also excited to see Cody Epps, maybe more than any of those wide receivers. Not because I'm intrigued by what's the potential. We know who Cody Epps is, but I'm really excited to see Cody Epps back on the field, healthy, and in a leadership role. I mean, Cody's got to take a step forward in that regard, because he's the upperclassman. He's the guy that everybody's going to look towards. It's easy to point to Chase Roberts and Darius Lassiter and say, hey, those are the leaders in the wide receiver room. And maybe they are. But Cody Epps seems to be handling his business a little bit differently this offseason. If you go back a year ago, Cody was everywhere, right? He was in and out of the transfer portal. We remember that. And then he was the media day guy. Every time BYU was posting content, it seemed like Cody was in the middle of it. He was kind of the face of the program going into last season. He's not there anymore. He didn't go to media day. He's shying away from some of that social media stuff. He hasn't been as active. It seems like he's locked in and he's ready to have a monster year. Maybe I'm reading into a lot of things, but I'm excited to see how that plays out for him. If Cody Epps could take a step and he develops and emerges as that true wide receiver one type of a guy, he gives that wide receiver room something that nobody else does. His ability to create space in tight confines, to get open in the middle, right? To get open in that 5 yard, pick up a first down type range, or to take a bubble screen and turn it into a big play. That's something Chase Roberts, Darius Lassiter, some of these other receivers don't do very well. Cody Epps brings a completely different component to the game. I'm really excited to see how that pans out. The linebacker room is maybe, and this is the last thing I'll talk about, but the linebacker room, in addition to Ace Kaufusi, excited to see what the rest of that looks like. Is Ben Bywater going to be healthy? I don't think he's going to be healthy during training camp. I think he misses the first few games of the season. But is he going to be healthy? He's trying to get back, and maybe he does. That'd be great. Ben Bywater's a difference maker. Siale Esera is coming off a pretty gnarly foot injury. There was some optimism from Kelly Poppinga that, hey, maybe Esera is going to be on the field. I still, I'll believe it when I see it. So hopefully we see it in training camp. If he can play, he's a difference maker. Harrison Taggart, what has he done? He came from Oregon and was supposed to be the guy right away. Now, maybe that was a little bit ambitious. He was still just a redshirt freshman at the time. But now he's been in the program for a year. He's been working with Justin Enna, Jay Hill. What is Harrison Taggart going to be? What kind of impact does he make? Athletically, he's there. I mean, he's got everything you want. How does he put it all together? And does he find maybe a starting spot this year, especially if Ben Bywater can't go? And then Cho Bryant-Strother, a UCLA transfer, Elijah Bryant's little brother. When he was on the field for UCLA, especially early in his career, he was pretty good. He made an impact. That kind of fell off in the later years. I don't know if that was injuries. I'm not sure exactly what happened. And Chip Kelly's UCLA teams weren't exactly known for defense. So there was some disarray and stuff going on there. What is Cho Bryant-Strother going to bring to BYU? They clearly brought him in to play. I think he has 2 years to play, but I think ideally he's a senior and he wants to go to the NFL this year if he can get the tape, put enough on tape to show the NFL he's ready. So I think this is a big year for him. He's not coming to sit and learn. He's not coming to play rotational reps. He wants to be a starter. How does he look? How does he play? He was a fantastic recruit. I think he was a 4-star guy out of Georgia. He's very, very good. So what does he do for BYU? I think he brings something different. He's got a defensive end background, so he can get there off the edge. But he's got that Mike linebacker size. Really excited to see what they do with him because that was a late addition to the roster. I think that was the most recent addition to the roster. Excited to see how that pans out. They clearly have a plan for him, and I'm anxious to see what that looks like. Training camp's just a few days away. That means the season's just over a month away. We're going to cover it all here. I'm excited you guys are back. Appreciate you guys for sticking with me, for fueling the algorithm. We're back. This has been fun. And until next time, guys, give them hell. Go Cougs.